Okay, weirdos, so I finally saw it. Went and saw Nefarious today. I'm in Rockford, Illinois. I went to the 3 p.m. matinee performance, and if you're following me on social media, then you saw the short video I sent earlier about how I was the only one in the theater. I was the first person to walk in, so I'm going to take credit for being the first person in Rockford to see Nefarious. I don't know if that actually works that way, but I'm going to take credit for it anyway. A few other people did eventually wander in, but it was a very, very small crowd. I think maybe there were 4 people in there. But, and I was disappointed in that at first, but then I turned right back around and bought tickets to see Renfield right after that. So for the 5 o'clock performance. And there were maybe 8 people in there. So I think it's just the time of day. Being a Thursday, and, you know, people hadn't gotten off of work yet, and people are still in school, so they're not going to be going to the movies. So I think that's probably why there was just such a small crowd. So I don't have to feel so bad for Nefarious just yet. And I say feel bad for it because I kind of have an affinity for it. I had an affinity for it before ever going to the movie. I read the book that the movie is inspired by, and that just got me going. I was like, oh, I got to see this movie. I got to see this movie. Okay, so here are my initial thoughts. Number 1, I think I might have a new favorite movie of all time. I'm not kidding. It's not what I expected it to be. It is not a horror film. You can certainly call it a psychological thriller. Definitely a study of a study in character development, I guess. Well, I don't even know if it's character development because the characters have already been developed, but it is dark. Oh my gosh, it's dark. It is going to make you rethink everything you believe about demons, angels, whether you believe in the Bible or not. It is going to make you think. Because what I didn't know going in is that the person going in to talk to the prisoner, by the way, the prisoner, the Nefarious character played by Sean Patrick Flannery, oh my gosh, was he good. Which you should expect no less from Sean Patrick Flannery. I'll get back to him in just a second, but the other person, I'm sorry, I can't remember the actor's name. I'm very, very sorry. But the one who plays the psychologist coming in to determine whether or not he is insane. He's an atheist, and so he's not buying this whole thing that the guy's, a demon or possessed by a demon, because he doesn't even believe that demons exist, much less heaven and hell and God and angels and everything else. So that already kind of made it an interesting tennis match between the two. They spent a lot of time, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen that they spend some time at that table talking back and forth with each other. Most of the film is that, but it is so well written. It is so engaging, and I'll get back to Sean Patrick Flannery. The guy is just full of talent. You could totally see how he changes from the demon to the man he's possessing. You can see it in his face. You can see it in his actions, his emotions. It's amazing, amazing. But I love, even as the demon, though, the little facial tics that he does, the way he moves his lips all the time, the way he does this with his eyes. And I don't know if that was intentional or, like they just told him in advance, do this, that's part of his character. Or if that was, I'm going to guess that was Sean Patrick Flannery's idea. I'm going to guess that was his contribution to the character, and it works so well. He is so creepy. But I've never felt bad for a convicted murderer on death row until now. I felt myself really feeling bad for the guy that the demon possessed. Still guilty of everything, still deserves the death penalty. Well, that's debatable. I think they leave it that way on purpose, that let you decide. But man, I mean, the emotions that came out in that particular character, it really made you feel for the guy. I'm trying to talk about this without giving away any spoilers. The ending is amazing. I wasn't sure exactly how the whole movie was not what I expected. It is not a CGI everybody jump scare horror kind of film. It's almost like a courtroom drama, almost, just a lot darker. They do not hold back when it comes to people's beliefs and why demons do what they do. They even touch on some of the questions that I've had about demons, like why would you rebel to begin with, if you know you're going to lose in the long run? It's God, right? You're going up against God, almighty, all-powerful, undefeatable God. Why would you go against him? And they actually kind of explain that in a really good way. And then you also wonder, okay, well then why, if you've already been defeated, what's the point of going out and going after all mankind and trying to turn them and everything else? And they kind of touch on that too. I'm telling you, just amazing. But oh, you got to see it. This is going to be one of those films that you need to see more than one. I'm going to have to see this again to really soak it in. And like I said, this is going to be maybe not my favorite movie, but it's definitely going to be one of my favorites for a long time. I'm definitely getting this when it comes out on video, because I want to watch this over and over again for a couple of different reasons. One, because I just know that I didn't catch all the little intricacies of Sean Patrick Flannery's performance. There's no way that you can catch everything that he did in one viewing of this film. It's impossible. But two, I don't think I was able to capture everything that was being said in the film and what it meant. Like I said, it really makes you think. And I want to go back and listen to it again, especially since I've been on this kick recently about learning more about demons and studying demonology and everything. And, yeah, plus I've also heard all the stories behind what's been happening with this film. I meant to, before today, drop you like an audio or a video that I came across the other day from Father Carlos Martins. He is the father, the exorcist from the podcast that I've been telling you guys about, the Exorcist Files. Well, I didn't know this at the time, but he was brought on as a consultant for this film. Kind of interesting that kind of, nice little coincidence there. But he says that this is the most accurate demon possession film that has ever been made. Not that he's ever seen, but that has ever been made, period. The Catholic Church, the diocese, and I believe the Vatican were asking people to go and see the Pope's Exorcist starring Russell Crowe and maybe endorse it. Father Carlos Martin refused to, because it was not realistic at all when it came to actual demons, and he thought that it would actually lead people astray, and it would give them the wrong impression about demons, and he's worried about people's eternal souls. So he was afraid that maybe people would start taking demons in the wrong way and not pay attention to them. I don't know. Anyway, he refused to endorse that. But after seeing a screening of this, he does endorse this one. He says this is the most realistic demon possession movie ever. And he also created a little video on his own Facebook page, which I did forward. I did post it to the Weird Darkness page on Facebook. So if you want to go see it, you can find it. But essentially, what he was saying is there's been demonic activity on the set of Nefarious almost since day one. And even after it was done filming, just last week, they were doing interviews with some of the people who were involved with the film. And they had him come in for an interview. And after his interview, he went back to his hotel room, and then he got texts coming in. He had turned his phone off for the interview so they wouldn't be disturbed. And so when he turns his phone back on, it just starts blowing up with texts with the interviewers saying, we don't know what happened, but the equipment it didn't work or something, but all the recordings of you are corrupted or they're missing, and we're going to need to reschedule you and do it again. All right, fine. You know, that happens. You know, that's, you know, welcome to technology. But then he gets another text. And now the equipment that they use for recording, that is now broken down. And they can't get that to work at all. At all. Then another text comes in. They ask the father to come down to their room because now they're actually hearing voices coming from the furniture in the room. Oh, sorry. So yeah. So something is going on. Some sort of poltergeist kind of situation, or a demon. It's not a possession. It's a demon. I can't remember. It's not possession. It's not oppression. There's infestation. Demon infestation that may have taken place. Something I'm learning from my demonology course. There are actually several levels. Anyway, he runs down there and he starts going through the exorcism for a demon infestation, for attachment, for an exorcism for a room or environment rather than exorcism of a person. And as he starts doing it, he starts hearing a voice behind him, like something whispering behind him, like a radio or something, but it's a female voice, and there's nothing in the room that would be causing that. And it couldn't be anybody behind him because he's up against the window on the 5th floor. There's no way for anybody to be behind him for him to hear that person. And he didn't say what it was that was being said to him, but as he was getting to a certain point in the exorcism, which was, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but essentially it was, "In Jesus' name, be gone." Something along those lines. Everything instantly, poof, stopped. And everything was fine again. That kind of stuff happening on the set of a film, that made me want to see it even more before today. So when I went in, I wasn't sure what to expect in the film, but I am not disappointed in any way. And now there's a new episode of The Exorcist Files that I get to listen to, so that'll be interesting to listen to on the way home. But I wanted to give you guys my first impressions of Nefarious. Absolutely wonderful. And I could totally see this becoming a franchise. You don't have to read the book. In fact, I would recommend you not read the book before seeing the film, because the film actually works kind of as a prequel to the book. It won't ruin anything for you. If you decide to read the book before seeing the movie, that'd be fine. But it'll actually kind of be interesting, since I did it that way, it'd be interesting to hear from people who see the movie first and then go read the book, which is called A Nefarious Plot, and see what they think about it. But yeah, I definitely think a sequel could definitely work for this. The ending makes it very obvious that a sequel could come in. And there's already another book called A Nefarious Carol, which is a sort of a Christmas time thing. It's a little shorter book, but it's still nefarious. And so, you know, maybe make that into a movie or something. I don't know. But anyway, those are my initial thoughts. As for Renfield, I know you guys were wondering about that since I walked out of Nefarious at the end and walked right back into Renfield. If you combine John Wick and Universal monster movies, put those two together, you get Renfield. A lot of fun. Of course, it's not supposed to be realistic at all, and it's not. It's so over the top. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. Nicolas Cage is just... I understand that he wanted to play Dracula for the longest time, and man, some of the black and white scenes that they do in the film, he actually kind of looks like Bela Lugosi. You wouldn't think so by looking at him, but the makeup they put him in, you know it's still Nicolas Cage, but you can still see Bela Lugosi in there. It's really, really weird. But that's in the early part of the movie. And then when we would get back into more like a modern situation with, modern day, he dresses a little bit differently, and now he's in full color, and so doesn't quite fit the same mold, but he has a lot of fun with the role. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is bloody, extremely bloody. So just know that going in. I'm not going to say that it's realistic blood, because it's not. Like I said, John Wick, Universal Monsters, and then the elevator, and then the blood from The Shining in the elevator scene. There you go. That's Renfield. Totally worth it. It won't be one that I go out and buy, for my own personal collection. Nefarious definitely is, but it's still definitely worth going and checking out. So there you go, weirdos. So that's not an official movie review, but it'll have to do, because now I got to get back home and start working on the podcast again. Blessings and goodbye.